All right, folks, good morning. This will be our final video for day one. I appreciate your patience so far. Hopefully, because all these videos are short, 5 minutes or less, that you can work through these pretty quick. So the final thing we're going to talk about sounds extremely basic, and in fact is pretty basic, but Shakespeare uses it a lot, so it's worth talking about. When things are repeated, or when there are lists of things, this is obviously very intentional, right? Shakespeare did not do things by accidents. I know this sounds like a very Englishy teacher thing to say, but it's true. There's nothing by accident. So if you see a word or phrase that is repeated a whole bunch of times in a passage, underline it, right? It is definitely intentional. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, why is this word repeated so much times in this passage? What is Shakespeare trying to make me think about? Second thing to keep in mind is when a character gives a list of something like this, and then this, and this, that is also very intentional. Usually that was an instruction to the actor to say this list with increasing urgency, right? Most of the time, that is why Shakespeare would have a list of something. So let's point out a couple of these in this passage. A few things that are repeated in this passage that we've just talked about. The first one that is repeated a lot is the word look, right? To beguile the time, look like the time. Blah, 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 look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Only look up clear. So why is the word look repeated so many times in this passage? Because that is what the whole passage is about, right? She is talking primarily about the way Macbeth looks. Macbeth looks suspicious. He is bad at being a creep in disguise, right? So she is saying, you need to change the way you look, Macbeth. You need to, right now, you look like you are going to kill somebody. What you need to do is look like a charming, friendly gentleman and actually be something totally different underneath that. So part of the reason this word is repeated so much is because it is one of the main thematic concerns of this whole passage. Second thing that I want to point out is the word night, right? So the word night keeps appearing, night, night, night. You may wonder, why is the word night repeated so much? And it's a similar thing, right? The night is looming over them because in just a few hours, Duncan is going to be there and they are going to carry out a horrific murder, right? So the word night is weighing very heavily on both of their consciences. My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight, right? This night's great business, to which to all our nights and days to come. They're both very preoccupied about what is about to happen in a few hours' time. Final thing that is repeated, and this is more of a list, but you will see we have your face, your eye, your hand, your tongue. What do we immediately notice about this list? One, they're all sort of structured the same way. It's your and then a body part, your face, your eye, your hand, your tongue. But the other obvious thing that you will notice is that this has to do with the way he looks. She's saying, listen, your face, I don't buy it. I don't buy that you're innocent if I look at your face. Your eye, the way that your eyes look at me, I don't buy it. I don't buy that you are innocent. Your tongue, the way you talk, that is not the way an innocent person would talk, right? So she is pointing out all the different body parts that could be masquerading and hiding his true intentions, but are in fact giving him away. If she were actually to read this out loud, she would read each of these. Usually what I have people do is number these. She would read each of these with a little bit more intensity. So let's go to a cleaner screen for 1 second. When Lady Macbeth goes, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, each one of those is sort of like you're walking up a set of stairs. Each one of those is a little bit more intense. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. So she is sort of planning out for him what his plan of attack will be. Duncan will arrive. Macbeth will be very kind and gracious. He will look like someone who is innocent. He will offer his hand like someone who is innocent. He will speak to the king very graciously like someone who is innocent. But he will be a serpent under it, right? He will be a murderous plotter underneath it all. So that's just a couple examples of both of these appearing in this passage, but you will notice that neither of these are accidental, right? Every time you see a word that is repeated a lot, night, 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 look, 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 your, body parts, etc., that is very deliberate, and that is to point out basically the key features of the passage, which is about Macbeth hiding his true intentions. Thanks, guys.